Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Let me see who was here first. Fancy you being here first. Thank you very much for that. So let me see. I got to get these slides up. So let the slideshow begin. Very special. Something rush right on in. Okay. All right. Well, I'll just say hi to everyone as I go along. I don't want to stay on too late tonight. Okay. There we go. Um, got a few more picks from yesterday, some ones that were not included with the big batch that came out, like the one on the left side. I don't know who that is she's talking to. I mean, she looks familiar. If you know who it is, go ahead and throw it in the chat. I don't recognize her. But she seems familiar. I know the lady in black. That's Kelly McGee Zafin. But the other lady in the dark green, I don't recognize her. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Meghan posted this earlier today. If you notice, those twin palm trees, the ones that Archie say look like mommy and daddy. Remember, he named those trees mommy and daddy. There's the tall tree, and there's the not so tall tree. There's a tree wearing some regular loafers, and then there's a tree in stilettos. Yeah, so he said those trees on their palatial grounds in their private park, he said those trees reminds him of mommy and daddy. I could see that. I could see that. Standing up against all the elements. Yeah, I could see that. Okay. Ask Hazel Jones. I decided that since Hazel Jones seems to have been very adept at answering questions for me, yesterday someone said, did they change succession rules for Princess Charlotte? Was it only for girl children of the king, not lords? I don't know. I don't know. So that seems like a ask Hazel Jones. So whenever Hazel joins us, just remind me, and I'll throw that back up there for her, and we'll have her answer that to the best of her ability. Because honestly, I don't know. I believe they may be referencing the rule that Charlotte was made a possible well, no, let me stop saying possible. The line of succession was always the male heirs first, right? So the child of the sovereign, if the child born first is a female, she could only be queen if her brother, who was born after, did not survive. Otherwise, the brother was the next in line to the throne. Even if the sovereign had three girls and one boy, if that boy was born last, that boy would be king. But they changed the law of succession. This is the one that I do recognize and understand, that would make it whoever comes first. So Charlotte is the first to benefit from whoever comes first. This is why Princess Anne, Princess Royale, this is why she is way behind in the pecking order. Instead of, let me see, what is it? This William, and then William's three kids, and then Harry, then Archie, and Lily, and then Andrew, right? But if it wasn't for the law or the rule the way it was before, It would not be Andrew because Princess Anne is older. So Princess Anne, having been born before Andrew, the sick old man, she would be number what 8 in line for the throne, not Andrew. But as things stand, it's Andrew, and then Beatrice, Eugenie, and then it hops over to Princess Anne and her children, right? And then it hops over to Edward and his children. But by the time it even got that far, in all likelihood, we could expect that Charlotte and Louis and George will have children of their own. And also Archie and Lily, they will have children of their own. So it just pushes everybody further down the line. The only way that Charlotte would ever be queen is if, you know, the worst happened to her brother. So that's the one I understand. I don't know if that answers the question, but until then, I'll just leave that for Hazel Jones. Okay. Okay. But that's the way I understand it. Now, continuing our community, our community, continuing our commitment to the Alliance for Children's Rights. They actually posted this on the, what do you call it? The Archwell website. So you can find this at the Archwell website. But in the meantime, I will share it with you. For the second year, the Archwell Foundation is proud to support the George Zafin Tennis Tournament in Los Angeles, a moving event that brings the community together in support of the Alliance for Children's Rights. Prince Harry and Meghan, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, attended the tournament, celebrating the Alliance's remarkable impact and ongoing commitment to strengthening families across Los Angeles. The annual George Zafin Tennis Tournament raises essential funds to advance the Alliance's mission of securing safe homes, quality education, and holistic support for children and families in need. At the Archwell Foundation, we remain committed to uplifting communities and are proud to support the Alliance for Children's Rights dedication to ensure children receive the support and care they need. Since its founding in 1992, the Alliance for Children's Rights have served as a vital advocate for vulnerable children, ensuring they have access to the stability, care, and opportunities every child deserves, from providing free legal services to helping young parents in foster care and their children build brighter futures. Their work continues to make a profound difference. I'm losing my voice. There we go. A little agua never hurt. Yeah, I'm losing my voice. Oh, okay. Okay, let's see how I'm doing. Well, I'm not doing. That's how I'm doing. I'm not doing. It seems like nothing has changed. Okay. Well, at least the number didn't go down. All right. So there you have it. Now, let's take a look at this. There you go. Meghan wearing, of course, the Carolina Herrera. Someone said yesterday that that's what Meghan was wearing, and it turns out they were absolutely right. That is a signature Carolina Herrera look. one that Meghan favors again and again. As a matter of fact, we count that this is the third time that we know of that Meghan has actually worn that particular dress. And of course, that is Kelly McGee Zafin, who is George Zafin's mother. Georgie died unfortunately very young, um, and his mother and father created this as a memorial to their late son. And this, of course, is a tennis tournament that has raised a lot of money over the years. And Archwell has signed on to help with that fundraising. Wow, Meghan looks amazing. Yesterday, someone thought that this may be AI, but I had to remind people that the Duchess of Sussex has been doing Pilates or yoga or whatever for years. So, of course, she's able to contort herself in a way that is very ladylike and almost impossible to believe. And here is a group image of Harry and Meghan, Kelly, Lily, and whatever the dad's name is. I never knew his name, but that, of course, is Georgie's father. And check it out, 2024 and 2025. There you go. You can see a group shot from last year and this year. And on the right there, you can see where our Duchess has literally been brought to tears. You can see the very solemn look on her face. Someone was reading about little Georgie, and of course, that caused Meghan to actually, let's see. I had a brief video of that, and it has not seemed to have loaded. So let me try it again. See if I can get that to load. Otherwise, we may have to skip it for now. Oh, is that why? Okay, let me try that one more time. Oh, there we go. All right, so I got it this time. Let me try this again. Okay, just about got it. Give me just a second here. And I don't got it. Oh, yeah, I do. There we go. How you use your voices to the covers, how you move with empathy. As you can see, like I said, it's just a split second there. How you use your voices to the covers, how you move with empathy. But you can see why Meghan has that very solemn look on her face because of the very moving words. And even though I did not hear the speech in its entirety, I'm sure that at some point it referenced our dear little Georgie. And again, there's the mystery lady in green. I don't know if anybody said who she was, but I don't know who that is. But these are a few photos that came out that we did not see last night. Anybody? Nobody? Okay, yeah. Pass. I don't know who she is. I don't know who she is. Anyway, she seems very nice. Love the dress. Belt is working. Okay. And next. Again, another group shot from 2025. Compare that to 2024. And Harry is wearing those same shoes. Harry is probably wearing those same pants as well. Harry loves his what are they called? Chinos or whatever? He loves his chinos and his loafers. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Well, that gets us even closer. Let's see. The Mexican shoemaker. Oh, the one I mentioned yesterday. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. But yeah, it seemed like a great occasion. And I suppose we will see our Duke and Duchess there next year as well, since this is, I want to say this may be the third year. I believe this has actually been the third year that they've made it to this tournament or something similar, or something similar. But just a reminder, the young lady that you see there, her name is also Lily. As you can see there, our other favorite Lily. Our other favorite Lily. All right, our other favorite Lily. And check it out, Highbrow Hippie, the Highbrow Hippie Salon. Remember the nice lady there on the right? Her name escapes me, but she is the one that Meghan invested in her product, right? Anyway, if you are having problems with your hair, that Highbrow Hippie hair serum that she created has been working wonders all over Hollywood. She has some big celebrity clientele, including the Duchess of Sussex. So if your hair is not, growing the way that you want it to, or you may find that it has been very damaged and unmanageable, highbrow hippie, she has the ultimate hair serum. I'm even thinking about gifting it for Christmas. Yeah, I'm even thinking about gifting it for Christmas. Um, I got to see if they have a smaller size though. It ain't cheap. I got to see if they have like a sample size. It ain't cheap, but I heard it is quite effective if you having trouble growing your hair. So I don't know what she puts in it, but there's a lot of people that swear by it. Highbrow hippie. And of course, George Zafin tournament tennis for Tots raised $200,000. Yes, that event raised $200,000. So congratulations to the George Zafin tennis tournament. Okay, and again, Carolina Herrera uh, and the Jimmy Choos and the handbag, Loro Piana. You got Carolina Herrera, Jimmy Choo, and Laura Piana. What a combination. And that is how you can have that Duchess of Sussex look just combine those three designs, and it's off to the races or off to the tennis. Now, this little spot of bother. Prince William plots bonfire of royal titles when he becomes king. According to Tom Sykes, and by the way, we're going to finish up with this. So if you don't have the appetite for it, I totally understand. But just to be forewarned, we are going to finish up with this. Otherwise, I don't think there's any other topic that I'm going to approach besides this one. And that is, of course, Willie Leaks, who seems to be growing in stature and power as we speak. All he needed was his father to have a what appears to be an incurable illness, allegedly, they say, and well, now he's consolidating his power, much like his father did when the Queen was pronounced terminally ill. Well, they didn't make it public, but we quickly realized that Queen Elizabeth was terminally ill. And so now William, who does not have the experience of his father, has decided that he wants to start flexing, that he is ready to be king. He has been beating that ready to be king drum for years, even while Queen Elizabeth was alive. I do believe that there was some type of campaign. I don't know whether it came from his office. I'm not sure whether it came from the Middleton family. I was willing to bet that it was the Middletons, Mike and Carol. Poor Carol is aging like milk and probably wanted to have a better chance of seeing her daughter become queen sooner rather than later, as Carol Middleton is no spring chicken herself. There's a big difference in being able to walk down the aisle and having someone roll you down the aisle. But, her mom seems to be in very fit and good condition. I'm not saying that she's, but still is something to think about. If you are waiting to be king or waiting to see your daughter crowned, if Charles had lived as long as his parents, then you'd have quite a long wait. Now, of course, we all are hopeful that Charles is able to power through whatever this illness is. He won't tell us what type of cancer it is. We don't know what type of treatment. I think they said it was radiation. I'm not sure. But Charles was really forthcoming when it was just about a prostate. Now that it has been determined to be cancer, we don't have as much to say about it. So, and then there's William. Friends of Prince William tell the Daily Beast that William plans sweeping reforms when he becomes king, using special executive order to remove princely titles from all non-working royals, as King William will strip Andrew of all other non-working royals of their honorific HRHs and princely titles. Friends and allies of the prince told the Daily Beast. So yeah, and it is within the gift of the monarch that one is dubbed an HRH. So that is something that would be relatively easy for him to do. But as for the, say, for instance, the Duke of York, those titles may be put into abeyance and unused, but I'm not sure that he has the right to take those titles away. That may be up to the Parliament. And you know what? I believe him. I believe him. I believe that this article was leaked intentionally because he plans to try to look as tough and decisive as possible, and he wants to leave his mark on the monarchy. If nothing else, he is quite arrogant, that William, and he is going to try to push his way into a place of recognition as being quite singular and individual in comparison to his grandmother and his father. He wants to strike fear in his opponents. He wants people to see him as being a really rugged, tough guy. And so, if it means going after your own family, then I'm pretty sure he'll do it. He's done it thus far, hasn't he? No reason to believe he would do anything but follow through with it. William and Kate would prefer Andrew as a neighbor over Harry and Meghan, claims royal commentator. Now, I'm willing to bet you that was leaked from Kensington Palace at a time when it served them, right? He probably don't want Harry and Meghan as their near neighbors, said commentator Jeannie Bond, who tends to have a better inside track in comparison to most. I believe that to be true. I believe that that is true. At the time, that was March of 2023. Anything to try to embarrass the Sussexes, right? The other reason why I believe that to be true is because of this. In spite of everything that they are saying at this time about William having very little patience for his uncle Andy, they want us to believe that Charles ordered him to drive Andrew to church. On which occasion? This one or this one? Do you mean to tell me on both occasions it was an order to drive Andrew to church, or did he do it because he just wanted to? I mean, there's no reason to believe that Andrew could not have driven himself to church. And yet, and yet, now the story is that it was forced upon William. Is this an attempt by William to distance himself from Uncle Andrew? They always seem to be very comfortable in each other's presence. How about this one? Smug looking Prince Andrew and uncomfortable William had a very frosty exchange after the Duchess of Kent's funeral. Body language experts reveal it did not seem that way. It did not seem that way. A few select photos to reinforce the narrative is always a proven method to try to gaslight people into believing something that really did not happen. William looked very comfortable. And I believe that Uncle Andrew, the sick old man, only approached William and had polite conversation with him because he felt justified and welcomed. And yet they kept running these headlines for days. Do you guys remember that? Because nobody believed it. So they ran another article. William's fury at Prince Andrew funeral ambush told by friends of royal biographer Andrew Lonnie. Personal feud over Kate and what really happened in awkward encounter revealed. I don't believe it. I believe they were trying to reimagine things. They were trying to, what do you call it? It's revisionist history. That's not exactly what happened. I mean, if you look at William right there with that rather sly grin on his face, they're having a laugh with each other. There was nothing standoffish. William had a rotten 18 months. Many have remarked he's appeared unusually somber, and not just when standing next to Prince Andrew. They were standing outside of a funeral, and the royals always play up to the cameras. Everybody know that. Anyone who is in that immediate family have been trained to play up to the cameras. Charles does it all the time, and William is no different. He was playing up to the cameras, just like he did when he was crying on that video not long ago, speaking to the same woman about a same situation from what, 7 years ago? And I guess there was a delayed reaction. So William went to go and see her again. Only this time, cameras rolling, he started boo hooing. He could not contain himself. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think this is all a bunch of posturing. William is trying to set a certain mood once he becomes king. Now, it has been said that Charles is a lot worse off than most of us suspect. So, what that means, I don't know. But if anyone has ever had to, you know, care for someone, if you had an opportunity to care for someone with cancer, you know it can be rather tricky. It can be rather tricky. Not all cancers, of course, are created equal. Some are more, you know, easier to predict than others. And because we don't know what type of cancer Charles has, we don't know if there's going to be that rather unfortunate turn of events, or should I say, the possibility thereof, that there would be some turn of events um, leading up to the inevitable. Or is this something Charles will find as a nuisance and a chronic illness? And otherwise, he might live another 10 or 15, 20 years. We just don't know. We don't know. But we know that William is not wasting time. We know that William is continuing to brief against his father, as he has done for years. For years, there are so many headlines out there saying that William is ready to be king, Kate is ready to be queen. I believe those articles were written with the consent of Kensington Palace. I think what they were trying to do is to overtake Charles. I thought perhaps they were trying to shame him off of the throne. I really do. I believe that then, and I believe it now, that they were hoping to embarrass him away from the throne. Of course, that was not going to work. If Charles had any type of modesty, he would not have forced his concubine on the world. He would not have forced that woman in which he had an adulterous affair. He wouldn't have pushed her up in our faces. But because he has no shame, he decided, okay, I'm going to be king. But I believe someone, possibly William, someone was trying to embarrass Charles enough that he wouldn't even want to go through a coronation. But that did not work. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Hey, Connie Balmer, Janice Goodrich, Rory, welcome. Yeah, all of this, let's see, sick King Charles can't control Prince Andrew and Prince William. Tom Sykes has really been walking a different path in comparison to the other royal reporters. Yeah, these are just a few of the headlines that I've kind of picked up over the past few months, couple years now. Okay, and speaking of Tom Sykes, let me share with you. Um, let me share with you this. So It says here that the fall of Prince Andrew is the first great triumph of King William V. Prince William's ruthless purge of Prince Andrew is the clearest sign yet that um, the clearest sign yet that the next reign has already begun. Charles wanted to keep Andrew in the tent. William wanted him out. William won. Now, this is according to Tom Sykes, and it has been assumed that Tom Sykes has been in constant contact with either William or someone from Kensington Palace. Now, the reason why I think there may be some truth to that is this. If you're in the royal rota, you may still very well have some loyalty to the king, and I will be unwilling to write certain articles making it appear as though the king's reign is already over, as though the king is on his way to that storm cellar at the St. Charles, St. George Chapel. You know, from all accounts, one would be forgiven to assume that it's a lot closer than we suspect. I mean, I hope it's not, for everyone's sake, because I don't want to ever see William sitting on that throne. But it seems like there's already a shift in loyalty. Buckingham Palace is furiously, Prince Andrew was publicly humiliated yesterday, forced to renounce his ducal title, and is now the Duke only in memory. Buckingham Palace is feverishly spinning the stripping of the titles as a personification of a resolute monarch. But let's be very clear. The practical author of Andrew's public annihilation is his nephew, the Prince of Wales. In other words, William is using Andrew as a chew toy. He's using Andrew as a chew toy. Just like you would, let's say, if you took your golden retriever to a Petco, and all of a sudden your golden retriever has picked up a new toy to take home, something squeaky that he can bite into over and over again. Well, William's chew toy is also something that tends to squeak, something that seems to have a very unusual cartoonish shape, and that is Prince Andrew, Prince William's chew toy. The announcement may have come from the office of the king, but it was William who wrote the latest chapter. One dare not say the ending because I'm told William still believes too many privileges remain to Andrew. Okay. Readers of the Royalists, which of course is Tom Sykes, what do you call that? Substack? I think it's Substack. Unlike those of the craven British newspapers, will be well aware of the central fact informing and underpinning this entire story, that King Charles is dying. That's right. Anyone who is well aware should understand that King Charles III is dying. That is what's underpinning this entire controversy. Now, how true that is, I don't know. But we do know that Charles wears a lot of makeup. He seemed to have lost a lot of weight. And there are very long periods of rest between working engagements, sometimes. Andrew's separation from his ducal title really goes back to February last year, 2024, that is, when the king broke with every tradition of his dynasty and announced to the world that he had cancer. The palace presented this as a gesture of transparency and bravery. Actual friends of the king, speaking informally, have told me they feared it was unwise, but that he had been forced into disclosure because he had hastily informed the world that he was having treatment on a benign prostate. So everyone knew something was wrong, which made disappearing for 6 weeks while they figured out the details an impossibility. I don't know why. Kate disappeared for 172 days, and it didn't seem to elicit much questions her direction. So I don't see why they say that, but okay. Okay. What the palace refused to say, what the British papers continue to not print, is that the diagnosis was grave from the start. Reporters on the at the time utmost corrupt Royal Rota, a press pool, have spread the fiction of the doing brilliantly monarch. Yes, doing brilliantly is what they say. But everyone could see the truth. Charles looks exhausted. He has lost an alarming amount of weight, and he is still receiving regular radiotherapy and immune therapy. He spends long stretches at Highgrove and Balmoral in near total rest. When he's not yelling at the gardeners, of course. Yet the official narrative is that he is merely convalescing, soldiering on. A few discreet lines are inserted, like he slipped into a Telegraph piece this week. The king, who has cancer diagnosis, has given him other pressing priorities as a form of insurance for when the worst happens. Please, next time in English, because I don't understand what that means. It is not morbid to point this out. The death of the monarch is not a private tragedy. It is the engine that powers every royal drama from Shakespeare to the present day. Not looking good for Charles. It is not looking good for Charlie. And yet, this is also distracting us from another conversation. And that, of course, is Andrew, the ever-present Andrew. I think after a while, it's going to be less Andrew and more, where is King Charles? How is King Charles? And you know where they're going to push that narrative, because now that they have made these announcements about Andrew, I think they're going to turn their sights on Charles III and start a whispering campaign, especially if he has if he's absent from some of the more important public engagements. Now, he's supposed to go and meet the Pope. So that I don't know what that indicates, but he's going to meet the Pope. I mean, he still gets around on his own. He's not using a walking stick of any sort. And yes, he does appear to have lost some weight. And we all know that he's really been pushing makeup for the past couple of years. Yes, for the past couple of years. He's really been pushing the makeup. Even before there was a diagnosis, it seems like he was not at his best. Let me see. Yet in the official narrative, he is merely I did that already. It is not more. Okay, we did that. Oh, let me go to the next page here. The announcement of Charles' illness fired a startling, a start. I'm sorry, fired the starting gun on what the courtiers call the change of reign. From the moment power began to flow from the king to the heir. And from that moment, William's patience for his father's sentimentality, for his brother's chaos, and for his uncle's entitlement ran out. Mm, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Um, no, you know what? I am sure. I think I'm sure why. I know why. Like I said before, William just wants to look tough. He wants to look decisive. He wants to look the role of the king. He wants to come into that position swinging so that everyone will know that he is serious about his authority and his duty. You would think it would be enough just to become king, but no, I think his intentions are to solidify all of the tools he has and just remind people who's boss. And in order to gain respect from people, he's going to go in and clean house. He's going to go in and clean house. He's going to take away those HRHs across the board. He's going to take away those HRHs from anyone who's not considered a working royal. However, I do believe that certain older royals will not be affected by that because it would seem rather heartless to go after, let's say, the Prince Michael of Kent or something like that. It would seem rather heartless to go after him. Not that that would stop William. William's determination to do something permanent about Andrew when he becomes king can be traced to a single humiliating moment. Balmoral, August 2023, William was ordered to drive Andrew to church. At that moment, Andrew had pre-announced his own death. He was the all-powerful monarch. I'm sorry, did I say Andrew? At that moment, Charles had pre-announced his own death. He was the all-powerful monarch and who had to be obeyed. Yeah, he was the all-powerful monarch who had to be obeyed because he made William drive his uncle to church. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe that. It does make sense that no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's just a trip to church. Why would William be so triggered by his father's request or order to take his uncle to church? I just don't know that that's all so serious. It seems like this William going after his uncle Andrew is some kind of new plot. Does anybody else get that feeling? Like this is something new? Like this is something contrived and made up? Like they're using this to distract from something else? I just get that feeling. I mean, driving him to church, that triggered you so bad, right? That was such a deal breaker. Oh, I got to take my sick Uncle Andrew to church. I mean, I just don't see that that's all that. And even with all of that, it seemed like William had the opportunity to refuse. And that's that. If William refused, what could his father do? How many other things has William supposed to have uh, obeyed orders and he didn't? He went on vacation instead. there's been too many things that William has done that has been counterintuitive. So I just don't know if I believe that. Now, if that is the excuse that has been leaked to Tom Sykes, then so be it. But I just don't see that as being such a serious thing. Hazel Jones says, with so many cars on the estate, why did Andrew need a ride? Well, of course, that would be for the optics of it. That would be for the optics. Um, and when you put it like that, it does seem like something that was an issue of being coerced and forced into a situation. But then again, at the same time, William does not strike me as someone who would feel as though he could not say no, that he did not have it within him to refuse. So I don't know. That one right there. Let's see. Black Lily says, I don't feel that William is going after Andrew so much as I think he made an arrangement. Andy gets to stay in Royal Lodge and is fully funded, but his announcement is about a path to the Sussexes. Yes, yes, okay. I understand what you're saying there. That he's using Andrew as a catalyst to go after the Sussexes and their titles, to take their HRH, to take their Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles away. Yeah, it may very well be just that. And you know what? When it's all said and done, if possible, they would probably make sure that Andrew keeps his HRH, that he keeps his Duke of York title, while all along doing all of the official movements necessary to strip Harry and Meghan of theirs. So I think the Sussexes have a stronger case being the son and daughter in law of a monarch in comparison to being, you know, the brother of the king, the non working brother of the king, as they say, non working royal, even though no such thing exists. But yeah, it may very well be just a little clever ruse to go after the Sussexes. Okay. Wait, am I stuck here? I'm sure that's not the last one. Wait a minute. Okay, it goes on. So, the image of grim-faced heir behind the wheel, the disgraced Duke beside him, circulated around the world. William's age briefed furiously after that he had been obliged to do it, that it was not his wish. Those who know William say the episode hardened him. That's said one was the day he decided he would never be made to do something like that again. In retaliation, he refused to attend Christmas with his family at Sandringham that year after learning Andrew and Sarah would be there. Okay, now we do know that that happened, that Andrew and Sarah went to Christmas and, well, Will and Kate pulled out along with the kids. They pulled out. There was no Will and Kate at the Christmas lunch. Charles has always enjoyed um, the pose of Counselia. Um, Let me see. His instinct is that unity is the greatest royal virtue. He genuinely believes that the family like the nation, should stick together, that the public would tolerate the Yorks as it had forgiven him. Well, no reason to believe that to not be true. Yeah, I can understand why he could believe that, especially after, you know, giving the world the, what is that, Camilla, the queen consort. He imagined that inviting Andrew and Sarah Ferguson to join the family walk to church at Sandringham Christmas 2023 would be taken as a gesture of magnanimity. It was read as proof of delusion by William, who was, you ready for it? Incandescent. Part of the trouble was Charles was so inconsistent throughout 2023. Andrew had openly defied Charles over Royal Lodge. Andrew's vast grace and favor mansion in Windsor Great Park, once home to the Queen Mother. Charles tried to order Andrew out. The plan was hopelessly under-researched. The Crown Estate lease gave Andrew an ironclad right to stay, but the optics were brutal. Anonymous briefings suggested he might have his electricity cut off. The king looked petty and impotent. Andrew refused to budge, then invited him and his wife to join the most important photo call of the year, which of course is Christmas. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That would be, yeah, I think it was Christmas. So when 2024, Charles announced he had cancer, William was forced to start planning in earnest for his own reign. One of the first decisions he made was that Andrew problem would be solved, as one source told me at the time, via amputation. Good God, the wording, amputation. Charles will survive longer than expected in those first fraught few weeks. Still, the energy now flows to William, whose team, young, digital, ruthless, are clearly ready to give the institution the most almighty kick up the behind. This is a wait a minute. This is the pre-succession. One former courtier told me it's what Charles did to the Queen when he fired her private secretary, Christopher Gite. Only now it's being done to him. Only now it's being done to him. William, for his part, has no interest in the sentimental family unity that his father prizes. He sees the monarchy as a brand, and Andrew and Harry as hugely damaging that is to it. Well, I do believe William is going to make some very provocative moves, and in all likelihood, he will get his way. I think that that will only raise the profile of the Sussexes. If there is some belief that Harry and Meghan's popularity or money earning potential is subject to being called the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, is only made possible because of an HRH. They do not live in the United Kingdom, so the privileges of an HRH really will not serve them in any way in particular. And whatever a Duke and Duchess of Sussex is, we don't even know what that means. This is the United States. We don't even know what that means. I mean, I don't want to make this very crass comparison, but we have just watched a family led by Kris Jenner. We just watched in the past few years a family where the matriarch has managed to turn her family into billionaires. I mean, combined, there must be at least $2 to $3 billion of wealth in that family. And they're nobody in particular. I mean, I don't want to be rude, but they're nobody in particular. They don't really do anything. Their talent is dressing up. So, to understand the American market, they are using the old fashioned royal privilege as a way to measure the future success of Harry and Meghan. I don't think that is useful or helpful. They are not going to inhibit them. They are only going to strengthen them. America loves an underdog. I mean, there is a man in the White House that should not be there by anybody's guesstimate, based upon, well, let's just say historical references. He should not be there, but he is. The world has changed. And Harry and Meghan are changing right along with it. You and I are changing right along with it. But William seems to think that this figurehead role is going to be useful in destroying two very recognized, hardworking people. And I just don't think that's the case. He'll make trouble. No doubt he'll make trouble. But he's not going to sink their boat. I think he's only going to make them more popular. It would serve William to man his business. But if he chooses to go down that route, and Lord knows he probably will, um, I just do not see that that is going to serve him well. It's not going to serve the institution. And I think everyone's going to get hurt. Everyone. Yeah, everyone's going to get hurt. The same Harry that said, let's have an Oprah Winfrey interview, the same Harry that said, I'm going to write a book. Well, we can just guess what the title of the next book will be. And there will be a hunger for that book. And I just think everyone is going to be damaged for the sake of it. Those close to him that say that he sealed Andrew's faith in William's mind, he had to go and renewed his campaign with new energy and determination. Integrity, no, not integrity. What is that? Intriguingly, the media looks ready to credit William for Andrew's downfall. I'm not. I'm noting repeated reference to his role in reports, and I expect a lot of lobbying from his side on the matter in the next few days and weeks. You guys, William William is being led astray by his courtiers. I don't think everything is what it appears to be. These are not, I repeat, these are not the old aristocrats running Kensington Palace. He's bringing in a crew of people who are not experienced. They're not experienced. And I think that William is going to, I think there's going to be a lot of people that puff him up as a very great authority. But I think when it matters the most, people within the government are going to ignore him. And long as he stay in his lane, just like with his father, with all of the bluster that Charles had going to that throne, when Liz Truss said, stay home, do not go to the COP, whatever, what happened? He stayed home. She said he couldn't go, he didn't go. And I think William is going to get taught a very similar lesson. You stay in your lane. You don't talk politics and you don't tell the government what to do. So he goes on to say that, but William, I'm told, isn't finished. When he ascends the throne, he will issue a new letter patent, a royal executive order are known to strip Andrew and Harry, Archie, Lilibet, Eugenie, Beatrice of their HRH and princely titles. You heard it. Archie, Lilibet, Harry, Eugenie, Beatrice, everybody's losing their HRH and their princely titles, of course, royal duke titles. Starting with Andrew and ending with Beatrice. And knowing William, he'll probably do it the first day. Knowing William, he'll probably do it the first day. Well, you know what? I don't know how I don't know how that works. I honestly don't. If Charles is of sound mind, I can understand, you know, with the Queen was kind of like not really altogether there, I think. I think with her advanced age and her horrific illness, of course, the Queen was not really able to, you know, carry the weight of her throne. But you have Charles, who is, you know, younger. And I would say that he is still pretty sound as far as his mind is concerned. And he is still the king. So, you know, I have not seen where William has gone in there and stripped him of his staff. When they began to strip Charles of his loyal staff, then I'm going to say, yeah, you know what? This is already over with. But until that happens, I'm going to take what Tom Sykes says with a grain of salt. There's no reason to believe he wasn't briefed. But whether or not the whole thing is as bleak as it sounds, that remains to be seen. It really depends on how bad off Charles is. And also, as we know, Charles did go in there and get rid of people the Queen had serving her, and that eventually people began to look away from the Queen and toward Charles. I don't know how far along that is with William. I just don't know. It doesn't seem the same to me. You got the same bluster, you got the same pride, but I don't know if you have the same level of input from William. Obviously, William is going to more meetings and being briefed about things because he's that much closer. And of course, like I said, cancer can be very tricky. But has Charles pretty much lost most of his authority? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, the HRH, that's Williams to do with what he will. But the royal dukedoms, I'm not sure that he can do anything about that. He could recommend to the parliament, but it's not for him to take that away. It would be the same as if William decided to go after anyone else's dukedom. A dukedom is something that is inherited and passed down. It's passed down the male line. So I don't think that, according to the tradition or the Constitution for that matter, I don't know that it's just that easy that on a whim that any monarch can start stripping people of their titles like that. Now the HRH, sure, but the dukedoms, that's a whole nother thing. That is, in some cases that involves land and property, not necessarily for the royal dukes, but yeah, it's not so easily done. Oh well, um, I wonder if William is going to do anything about that. I wonder if William is going to issue a letter patent that requires Beatrice and her husband to wear sunglasses indoors, not to startle, not to startle other members of the family. What you think about that? I mean, Beatrice has been doing this so much. Now her husband's doing it. Have you noticed that? He's been hanging around her so much. Now he's starting to do it. uh, I'm gonna miss Her Royal Highness Beatrice and Eugenie. They'll still be a royal princess, though. He can't take that away from them. And look at Sarah and Andrew walking to church. Who knew that this would be the first and the last time they were going to do that, probably forever? Oh well, poor Beatrice and Eugenie. Now, I think this was William's doing. Remember when William made them go to that garden party and they didn't want to go? Ooh, they look pissed, don't they? They did not want to be there. Well, they're going to be down to like what? After Charles, I'm pretty sure that Camilla is done doing royal duty. No, you know what? Camilla probably will still do some stuff, but Camilla's not so well either. So who do you got left? You got the Sophie and Edward, Will and Kate, and that's it, right? Sophie and Edward, Will and Kate. Princess Anne, she's still in there, but who knows? She may be slowing down a bit. Um, I mean, there's only so many kicks to the head you can take. Anyway, you guys, that is that. Sorry about the very bleak information, but um, that is, that is what they say is coming down the pike. So I say we deal with it when the time comes. Um, but the Sussexes are either way, they're going to be okay. And as far as the children are concerned, who knows? He may be doing them a huge favor down the line. You never know. But I have no reason to doubt that something as petty as this, William is, you know, likely going to try something. So, with that being said, you guys, I'm going to say good night, and we'll look for a brighter tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have some new Sussex sightings or something, anything to distract from this whole William thing. But keep an eye on that space because William is drunk with authority. By all appearance, he is drunk with authority. And I tell you, I don't think he's going to handle it well, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, cheers, you guys. Love you, and good night, and God bless.